Hi guys, today I'm going to talk to you about cameras. And you don't need the latest gear to get good photos. So what I use for my main photography is this, the Olympus E3, which is by no means up to date. It's just a 10 megapixel camera. It's 4/3 selection of lenses. I'll talk about those in a minute. This is an Olympus EP1. I picked this up off eBay for £75. I bought a Pancake Lens, which is okay just for snapshots. That's a 15mm. Now on the 4/3 mount, this is micro 4/3. Basically, the crop factor doubles the focal length that is written on your lens. So this says 15mm, that then becomes a 30mm. This lens here is a 12-50, so that then obviously makes it 24-100. This is quite a good lens. It's the 12-50 EZ ED. It's quite sharp, but basically I got this one because the E3 doesn't do video. This does video in 720 HD, which by today's standards is quite lacking, but for now it does the job. I'm actually filming this at the moment on a Canon XL2, which is mini DV tape. It is digital camera, but it records it onto tape. You can get hard drive for them, but so that's that. This is my main camera, Olympus E3. This was £400 off eBay about a year ago. This is 4/3. The EP1's micro 4/3. It's 10 megapixels. I've got the battery grip on the bottom, so you've got the shut buttons and everything. It's aimed as a professional camera, magnesium alloy body, weatherproofed, dustproof. It's got the supersonic wave filter which cleans dust off the sensor. Basically, it is a good sturdy camera. It's quite big, you know, a lot of people won't like it for that. Before this one I had the E1, which was a good camera. That was only 5 megapixels, but even so, the quality you was getting from it was really good. This is 10 megapixels, which is a bit of a step up from the E1. I think it's got 11 autofocus points in it, whereas the E1 only had 3 focus points. This lens I've got on here at the moment is a 50mm macro lens. So on the 4/3, same as the micro 4/3, the crop factor is 2 times. So the 50mm then becomes 100mm macro. This is a 14-54, so that makes it, I'll think about this, 28-108mm. That's a good lens. And this one is a 50-200. So with the crop factor, that's 100-400. That's a f2.8 to 3.5, so the minimum aperture varies as you zoom it in and out. So zoomed all the way in it's 2.8, zoomed all the way out it's 3.5. Also, we have 2 times adapter. So you put this on before the lens and it basically doubles the focal length of your lens. So this 50-200 with the crop factor 100-400 then becomes 200-800. So it's very good for wildlife. You do lose a couple of f-stops doing it that way, but yeah, this is just a video explaining you don't need expensive gear. I mean, the camcorder I'm using now I think I paid £250 for it on eBay. It came with the microphone, the viewfinder and the lens. I did have to send it off to get repaired. It will need cleaning and calibrating and whatever the Canon dealer did to it. That came back and it's working fine. The only reason I'm thinking of upgrading the video gear is because the Canon XL2 is quite big. I mean, I've got a monitor on top of it, and hang on. I'll just do some video, show you what setup I've got. So that's what I'm looking into, and as you can see, it's quite a big lump to carry about. So the plan is, I'm saving up for a new 4K video camera. Not settled on what I'm going to get yet. I don't think I'll get a DSLR with video capabilities, because I've got a decent digital, DSLR for taking photos. I'd like something like the Canon XL2, which has got all the functions on it for videography. Basically, all the settings on it are just ideal. I mean, when the Canon XL2 came out, it was used in feature films. I think the film 28 Days Later was filmed entirely on the Canon XL2. So it is a good camera, but it's just old and it's a lot of messing about with tapes. But we'll try this Olympus E3 out. I mean, it's quite old now. I think they came out in... I'll have to check what year they came out. But I think the E1 came out in 2003. And this might have come out in 2005. So it is a fairly old camera with fairly low megapixels compared to what the cameras are nowadays, but having said that, it still takes fantastic photos. So I'll bring you along and we'll take some photos with the macro lens on it, and we'll see what we can get. I'm going to have to hurry up a little bit here, it's starting to rain. Here's the E3 with the 50mm macro lens on the 2x crop factor is 100mm. This would, it's an ideal focal length for doing portraits and stuff like that, but because it's got the macro facility on it, you can focus really close. So I'm going to take a picture of this osteospermum, a couple of flowers here, switch the camera on. Now I always shoot in RAW. If you shoot in RAW, when it comes to editing on the computer, you can change pretty much all the parameters that that you can set on the camera. You can change in the edit afterwards. So it's always a good idea to shoot in RAW. That means you get a good file with all the information. It's not been compressed by the camera into a JPEG with the camera's settings basically. So it's just a flat image with as much information as you can possibly get. I'm going to shoot in Aperture Priority, which is you set the aperture and the camera will set the shutter speed up to suit the aperture. So normally I do this on a tripod, but it's fairly bright out, although it's just about to start raining. So what I normally do is as I say, I have it on a tripod normally, and use the time. You've got the self timer on the camera, or plug in a remote release, basically to stop the camera shaking. Well, I don't think we're going to have a problem here because it's just a bit of a demonstration. So I'm going to set the aperture to, I'm going to set that to 11. I set a nice sharp point on the lens, and we'll see what happens. I'll get in close and try and focus. Got to move the carrots out of the way first. So there you go. I'm going to take it through onto the computer. Now I usually use Lightroom. I import it on Lightroom. I can do most of my edits on there, and then if I feel like it, I can then export from Lightroom directly into Photoshop, and I can do extra stuff in Photoshop. It depends on what software you've got for your computer. But this is just to show you that you don't need expensive gear, you don't need millions of megapixels, you just need a good quality camera with a quality glass on it, and just enjoy, basically. Most of my photography is trial and error. I know the basics, but just get out there and try. You will have failures, but the beauty of digital photography is not like the old film days where you used to have a roll of 36 developed and 4 would be, you know, okay. But no, nowadays you just fire them away and enjoy yourself. Get outside and take some photos. I never felt like this before. When I was trapped, you showed an open door. I had no reason to complain. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up. That all helps the channel. Subscribe to the channel. That'll help us out. You know, browse back, see what all the other ones we've done, and yeah, it's a bye for now.